The Kansas City Chiefs have signed tight end Anthony Firkser to their practice squad. Anthony Firkser, he hardly knows her. Anthony Firkser is a 29-year-old player from out of Harvard. He has spent his time in the NFL bouncing around from a few teams, but the question that is probably going through your mind right now, if you do not know, why are they signing a tight end to the practice squad? Well, simply put, Jared Wiley tore his ACL in the latest of a cavalcade of whimsy here in Kansas City. Another season-ending injury for a pass catcher from the Kansas City Chiefs. And no real details on this as far as I know, just something that kind of popped up in practice, I guess. And really disappointing for Jared Wiley. I thought that he was going to have a more pronounced second half of the season than he did his first half of the season. That was how it went for Noah Gray in his rookie season. And I think that Jared Wiley has the tools to be a good receiving tight end in the NFL. Now, the subsequent move to all of this is that tight end Peyton Hendershot has been promoted to the 53-man roster. There is a video on Peyton Hendershot in the 2024 Chiefs season playlist here on the channel. He was acquired shortly before the season in a trade by Brett Veach, so it is interesting to see that trade coming back and meaning something. It looked like it was not going to for a while. Firkser is 6'2", 246 pounds. He had a 4.82 40-yard dash with a 1.69 10-yard split, a 4.29 short shuttle. I'm getting destroyed over here for some reason. A 7.06 three-cone drill, a 31.5-inch vertical, and a 9-foot 2-inch broad jump. He did 21 reps on the bench press with 225 pounds. Just to sort of shape this up and say, what does that mean? Pardon me, I apologize. He is 1 inch shorter than Noah Gray, 6 pounds heavier. He had a slower 40. Noah Gray ran a 4.60. A slower 10-yard split. Noah Gray had a 1.61. But he had a much faster 20-yard short shuttle, a 4.29 compared to Noah Gray's 4.45. Noah Gray had a pretty elite three-cone drill with a 6.9. Maybe not elite, but a very good three-cone drill with a 6.9. Firkser had a 7.06. He had a 35-inch vertical compared to Firkser's 31.5. His broad jump, Noah Gray's, was 5 inches longer, but that 15 reps on the bench press shows that Firkser is a more compact type of athlete. He is more of a bowling ball than is Noah Gray, and we're going to get into that a little bit later in the scouting notes here. So he was already a member of the Kansas City Chiefs from November of 2017, I put the wrong year there, through April 30th of 2018. So he spent some time on the roster, but maybe not really on the field for the Kansas City Chiefs. But he did spend 4 years with the Tennessee Titans. In that time, he played 58 games. He played 1 season in Atlanta, where he played 11 games. And then he spent 1 tour of duty in Detroit, where he played 2 games. He has 4 career starts in 71 career games. He has racked up 115 receptions over his time in the NFL with 1,207 yards and 5 touchdowns. In 2020, for the Titans, he had 39 receptions, 387 yards, and a touchdown. In 2021, he had 34 receptions, 291 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 2020 would pretty inarguably be Noah Gray's best season in the NFL. So the reason I put this in here is not to denigrate Noah Gray, but to just sort of say, look, this isn't a scrub. This is a guy who has done some stuff at the NFL level. He just happens to be available right now. 2021, 34 receptions, 291 yards, and 2 touchdowns would be like Noah Gray's 3rd best season. So what are we talking about when we bring up the idea of Anthony Firkser? The first thing that I have to say, very importantly, is that he is a hands catcher, and he has good hands. He has strong hands, and he extends his hands in order to make the catch. This sounds elementary. It's not. We had an example just today from the Bills game where Keon Coleman did not do this. The ball got into his pads, bounced off of his chest, and was intercepted. We have seen that time and again here in Kansas City. From what I can tell with Firkser, that would not be the case. Now, again, he's still on the practice squad, so this is nothing really to write home about yet, but very good hands from what I can see. Next, he makes the catch and he gets upfield. He does not dance around. He does not pretend that he is Tyreek Hill or Barry Sanders. He gets the catch, and we'll get into this later, but he has a very interesting sort of transition into a runner, but he makes the catch and gets upfield. He is good at finding weak spots in the zone. That might be, look, this is a Harvard-educated tight end. That could have something to do with being able to read defenses. But he seems good at reading soft spots in zones. Now, going hand in hand with that, he does not have the athleticism to stay open in man. But you see from that change of direction with the 20-yard short shuttle time, he can create windows. He can get in and out of breaks. But most defensive backs and linebackers and safeties in the NFL, they're going to have the speed to catch up with him after that initial pop. An interesting thing from watching him, like 85% of his touchdowns came against the Chiefs. So it is an insurance move to sign him so that he cannot score touchdowns against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is what I was alluding to earlier. He makes the catch, he turns upfield, then he tucks it away with two hands and basically becomes a fullback. He secures the catch, he secures the ball. That is promising for a guy that is probably going to be on the lower part of your depth chart because you're not going to have mistakes out of that player. He's also not afraid of contact. He makes the catch, gets upfield, and if there is contact to be initiated, boy, he goes ahead and does it. So I don't have much experience with him in pass blocking or in run blocking. I have to imagine that he is more than willing to do this. He does have the strength to do this. He does have the intelligence, seemingly, to do this. I imagine he's going to be a plus in that category. Again, this is a practice squad guy. This is not an active roster guy at this point, but that is promising. Roster notes on this move. Guys, they really want to have a glut of tight ends on this roster. I don't know why that is. I don't know if they have completely designed the offense in this way. I don't know if they are reliant on bigger bodies in order to be able to make things go. But they have placed a stake in the ground. And when one tight end goes out, so the Jody Fortson signing came out of nowhere to have another tight end on the roster. And then when two tight ends have gone out, they are bringing in another tight end. They are promoting a tight end to the active roster. They are making sure that they have those tight ends on the roster. Right now, it's only 3. They like to have 4. They seem to like to have 4. You've got Kelsey, Gray, and Hendershot right now. Will Firkser make his way onto the active roster? That is yet to be seen. Here's a sneaky note. There's a lot of flux on this roster right now. A lot of players are injured. We have hopes and wishes and dreams and desires that certain players will come back. Isaiah Pacheco, chief among them, perhaps. Could this move be a sneaky move to get a fullback remaining on the roster if you have to try to sneak Carson Steele through to your practice squad? Clyde comes back. Isaiah Pacheco comes back. Whatever is going on here on the roster, you have to have an open spot. You want to have the flexibility to have a tight end on the roster, 4 tight ends on the roster. You want to have the flexibility to have a fullback on the roster. Noah Gray has, in my opinion, not really shown the sort of the required tenacity to be a fullback. You're certainly not going to be doing that with Travis Kelce. Peyton Hendershot, I'm pulling it up now, is a legitimate 6'4", 254 pounds. Difficult to get him into the 3-point stance maybe and send him into the line. Could it be that what we're doing here with Anthony Firkser is he's going to be promoted to that 4th tight end on the roster and the fullback in order to try to pass Carson Steele onto the practice squad so that you have that ultimate type of flexibility by having 4 tight ends and a fullback on the roster, but the fullback and the 4th tight end are the same person. I don't think you have that flexibility from Carson Steele. He has not shown to me sort of the route running acumen, at least at this stage in his career, to be able to do the tight end type stuff. So an interesting move. It is a very interesting move because the Kansas City Chiefs seem absolutely dead set on keeping multiple tight ends on their roster. But anyway, guys, that is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. Pardon me. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, consider hitting the subscribe button to stick around for more Kansas City Chiefs-based content in the future. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.